pretty sure many.
There's the whistle to start things off.
Pretty sure with them being many-time champion, because of the season that we're having here, there's not much difference among the teams in the competition, and even the match close.
Yeah.
So I think they will still feel like they have a chance to increase their trophy haul, both these two teams.
Yeah. Pretty skillful stuff there from Guthrie. Looked as if he was going to tumble over after stepping on the ball, but kept his balance well. Barnes trying to pick the ball around King, not successful. Arnott starting the second half in pretty much the same way that they employed tactics throughout the first. Chin overrun by Sigri, wins a free kick for Cavalier inside his own half.
And as I suggested pre-match, these two teams like to play high intensity, like to press, but so far it is Arnott Gardens who is having the upper hand in pushing Cavalier back.
Clark goes down hurt.
Actually, a knock on the knee. Players' legs coming together.
Looks as if he's okay now. Here's what happened. Yeah, two players just clashing there with the legs as they challenge for the ball. Ming and Clark. Sigri goes all the way back into his defensive zone, finds Cunningham. Cunningham comes across to Roberts. Cephas turns really well here. Kong, a little bit too slow there, didn't realize there was pressure on. Cephas. Martin gave the ball away there. Doxley with a great pass upfield, and the speedy Atkinson tries to outrun Simpson. Arnott's defenders take care of business in the end. Huge disparity in size there as the two men went for the ball, Atkinson and Simpson.
I think Simpson had a little concern first.
Yeah, hardly. Barnes! Side netting or behind the goal? Yeah.
Looks to be behind the goal.
Behind the goal.
But again, his movement is good. Always giving options to the attacking midfielders, and to get him on the ball, just needs to work on that finishing.
Barnes there had a side-thrown goal, but didn't get his boot around the shot enough, and as a result, didn't really get the shot on goal.
In fairness to him too, I think King was applying good pressure to him.
Yeah. But that would be their 12th attempt on goal. Arnott Gardens.
Still none on target.
Yeah, so they've got to work on their shooting accuracy, this Arnott Gardens team. Both teams will spend this season here looking for new goal scorers, because both teams have suffered from losing their top scorers of the past few seasons. For Arnott Gardens, their 11-goal leader last year, Kemal Malcolm, is now at Chalatenango in El Salvador. Paul Wilson and Fabian Reed were the next most prolific. Webster going down there. Reed and Wilson not in the current setup. Reed had been the scoring leader for Arnott Gardens 3 consecutive years before the aborted season last year, so none of these players around here for Arnott Gardens at the moment. Similar story for Cavalier. Siobhan Marshall was their scoring leader with 12 goals last year, now playing his club football in El Salvador. The season prior, 2018-2019, Marshall and Hamilton, 11 and 10 goals respectively, were their scoring leaders. 2017-2018, Marsh with 9 goals was their scoring leader. So I'm calling names there, Jeremiah, that aren't on their current roster. So new men will have to take up the mantle of scoring goals for these two teams.
Are you justifying their bluntness? Yeah, but for sure, of course, they would be missing these quality players for sure. Most definitely, they're missing those up front. But it provides an opportunity for other players now to step up to the mantle and really provide that spark and cutting edge for both these two teams. Thomas and Barnes will get better as the competition goes on. As we say, Barnes is a very good mover, recognizing space, just needs to finish better.
Yeah, Sigri and Chin locked in a tight battle for the ball there. Initially it was Chin was roughed up off the ball, but then he got back to his feet and gave Sigri some of his own medicine. Now Doxley is down.
Getting a little bit scrappy with the play. Not the fluency that we've come to see in the early parts of the first half.
King with a long pass over to the left side. Irving unable to keep it in. So says Yvette Stevenson, the assistant referee on this side of the field. There's King at defense for Cavalier this afternoon. They've been under a lot of pressure, the Cavalier defense. Kong for Arnott. An upsurge in windy conditions here at the moment as Thomas. Here comes Atkinson over the top from 6 yards. Aha! He should have done better with that, the 19-year-old.
Still can't get a shot on target, this Cavalier team, and that certainly should have worked, at least work Rodriguez. Good ball into the box there from Webster across the box, and always leaning away is Atkinson, but you expect him to hit the back of the net from about 8 yards out.
Yeah. Goalkeeper Rodriguez came in and presented himself big, but Atkinson went over the top with that one. First shot of the game for Cavalier.
And a good chance it was for them to go.
Best chance of the match so far.
Yes, even better.
Arnott have had 12 shots on goal and none would have been as clear cut as that one. Got 3. Here comes Atkinson again, but it's 1 against 3 at the moment. Oh, he uses good pace here, Atkinson. Still no support. Not sure what he tried to do there because there was no one in the middle for him to service with the ball. Maybe just an act of desperation to hit that one goalwards and hope that something could have come out of it.
But you initially didn't expect him to get the better of the 3 defenders that were seeming to marshal him, but he certainly did well. It was a change of pace once he put on the afterburners in both, and then it was Cunningham who was sticking to him as best he could, but was never going to get anywhere close to him.
Yeah, that is an example of how impactful pace can be in football, because this little man, probably 5 feet 6 inches tall, hounded by 6-footers and more experienced players, some of them, shot on goal, off target, but he got away from them. Yes, they presented enough pressure so that he couldn't comfortably strike a proper shot on goal, but this young man has so much pace, he will cause problems for all of the opposing defenders he'll meet. Still just 19 years old.
Yes, young and bright, but not only pace too, as you mentioned, Lance, but change of pace in terms of, you know, just recognizing, slowing down, recognizing when a defender is flat-footed and then accelerating, which he did well.
Webster. Martin puts pressure on Webster, but Webster, goal kick. Yeah, Martin putting enough pressure on the young man to not allow him to flourish on the...
It appears to be a free kick, Lance.
Oh, he wins a foul. Yeah, Webster very, very skillful. He had his shirt being tugged there for a moment. Yeah, Webster playing with a lot of good skills on the ball.
I really enjoyed watching, especially when he was at St. Elizabeth Technical.
There goes White down again.
I think it's going to be a feature of this half where White is concerned. Did it did so a few times in the first half, and I think he's still suffering from awkward landing he had on his ankle.
Player who has featured in a moment of history for Cavalier, when they'll boast that they started 3 17-year-olds in the same game in December 2017 against Montego Bay United. Jadine White, Jamoy Topi and Kahim Paris. Yeah, so Cavalier with a history of investing in youth. Doxley at 23 years old at the moment, the oldest player currently on the field for Cavalier, and that says something, doesn't it?
It does, and as I said before, it's a model that they've decided to stick with, and I'm pretty sure as a club they have seen the reward. We, looking from the outside, too, have seen many players making the transition to the next level.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens here with this free kick for Cavalier. Irving about to strike it. A few white shirts in the middle waiting for it. Now Cavalier have been dominated offensively in this game. Can they, against the run of play, strike something here for the black and white? Deflection. The header out. Murray. Now Arnott on the counter. 2 against 2 at the moment. And there goes Arnott, men rushing forward. Harley Barnes and Romeo Guthrie. Barnes goes for goal! Brilliant save by Jadine White. He aimed for the corner, got it on target, but White was brilliant. The turnaround and the corner kick to Arnott Gardens.
Good all-round play, good counter-attacking play from Arnott, and they transitioned quite well. That was sneaking inland, and it required White. Didn't show any signs of problems with his mobility there. Shuffled and got across and flung himself to his right and kept Cavalier in the game.
Barnes inches away from his first goal this season for Arnott Gardens. Brilliant save by White. Good corner. Not sure anyone touched it, or maybe an Arnott man touched it, but it's a goal kick to Cavalier, who will thank their goalkeeper Jadine White for keeping the score sheet clean at the moment. Fine strike by Harley Barnes.
We've been talking our game, Lance, how good he is as a young goalkeeper, and there he showed you all of his qualities in keeping Arnott off the score sheet.
I think it's a little bit more difficult sometimes for goalkeepers to get overseas opportunities than regular outfield players. I just listed the 3 17-year-olds who had turned out for Cavalier in that game against Moby United back in December 2017. Kareem Paris, Jamoy Topi and Jadine White. White the only one still here. Paris just signed for FC Koper in Slovenia, now plays in Slovenia's top flight. He had been in the Division 2, I think, before that. Topi's with the Philadelphia Union, and his former teammate Webster sets the ball inside. Here's a Shanil Thomas. Cavalier in front by 1-0. The former JC man on spot at the right time and against the run of play. And against the offensive form book, it's Cavalier that are enjoying the advantage.
It's a good quick break there from Cavalier, and the writing was on the wall. A few times we saw Atkinson down that side, that right side, and he has really used his space to good effect. And with the return of Thomas into the starting lineup, a focal point for this Cavalier team to aim at. That was a neat finish there. Rodriguez couldn't come out in time to stifle that effort, and it is Cavalier who shown in the past few minutes that they can be a good threat, and that's their first shot on target, or the first in the game, and it's ended up in a goal.
Yeah, Shanil Thomas, only 19 years old, opens his scoring account for the 2021 season. And Arnott Gardens will be deflated by what has happened here, having shown so much willingness to attack and putting so much pressure on the Cavalier defense for all of the first hour almost. We are now on the hour mark, but it's this man, Shanil Thomas, former Jamaica College standout, that has Cavalier leading now by 1-0.
You can see coming in the second half, Cavalier, it's an intent to play on the counter. Looking to soak up the pressure, as you said, and it started the way they ended the first half. Putting Cavalier under pressure, but they've left 3 players up top and seek to get them going every opportunity they get.
Goodale Irving in defense for Cavalier has been pretty solid for them. Not only in defense, but he has been the man who has instigated a lot of their offensive plays from the flank, Irving. Martin now for Arnott. Over dribbles and loses it, but there was a bit of a foul on him by Thomas. Free kick to Arnott. Another Arnott man down as well, Steve Clark. Thomas scored 2 goals last year in the Premier League for Cavalier. He's just nudging the knee there of Martin. He goes down and wins a foul, or wins a free kick from the foul. Arnott have now given up the first goal in all 3 of their games. Remember, they had to come from behind to defeat Cumberland in their last outing, and they had lost their opener to Tivoli Gardens. So in many ways, this has been one of their best performances of the season so far, certainly in the first half. But now they're trailing again.
Again, we see the opportunity for a counter for Cavalier. And it is again Webster on it.
Oh, Webster does really well here. Oh, slides the ball into Thomas again. Has he won a corner? I think he has. So Webster, who assisted on the Chanel Thomas goal, knocked the ball inside for the 19-year-old again. Thomas efficient with a finish on that occasion. Atkinson had gotten one earlier on that looked pretty easy as well, but he skied it.
And again, it was from Webster. Yeah, the fact is, as you mentioned, the defensive problems of Arnott, on the back of what you mentioned with them last season, going long stretch without clean sheet, and as we said earlier, in this contest, they tend to have an opportunity, a case where they give up an opportunity ever so often.
Irving with a corner for Cavalier, swirling in toward the near post. The pressure still there. The shot, Doxley! First goal in the Premier League in Jamaica. The St. Lucian makes it 2-0 for Cavalier. And Arnott Garn sinking for even further trouble as Tredine Rodriguez is beaten. Doxley puts Cavalier firmly in front.
And do you think, based on the evidence of things here, that could be it for Arnott? But no, I think Doxley must be wondering, how did he get so much space? I think the defenders were ball watching, coming out slow, you feel, and was played on. I think it might have been Cunningham who played him on. Slow to come out.
Great technique there from Doxley, the 23-year-old. Yeah, says hi to his St. Lucian fans probably watching in that Eastern Caribbean island. Yeah, so what a turnaround. What a turnaround this has been.
I think critical to it so far, Lance, has been the difference we've seen even with Webster in the second half. Totally more imposing on this game in the second half, and has been a part of everything bright and beautiful for Cavalier.
Arnott making a couple of changes. Deacon on. And Rashid Kelson in as well. So Kelson and Deacon, 2 new players on for Arnott Gardens. Guthrie. Cephas. Still Cephas. Yeah, didn't use the options of some assistance he had there. The speedy Atkinson chases, but I think Simpson will get there before him this time. He does. Ball by Atkinson on Simpson. Free kick to Arnott, deep inside their own half. So trouble for Arnott. Who bossed the first half and now find themselves trailing 2-0, 6 to 5 minutes in. And we're up to the water break. And at the same time, White is down hurt again for Cavalier.
And I think Cavalier would be more pleased coming out of the half-time break and whatever the talk was and the change to their play in terms of the intensity certainly have paid dividends for them. And see Doxley there, they score off the second goal for them. Employed in a midfield role today and certainly rewarding his coach's impetus to put him in a midfield position with a goal. And a good goal it was. Always nice to see those overhead kicks. But the space he found himself in, I'm thinking he was surprised himself that he was afforded so much time and space to execute that shot.
Yeah, and the first goal by Chanel Thomas. Webster doing some really good work on the right side and setting up the fellow youngster with the opportunity to score his first goal this season. There's Jadine White getting some refreshment. Cavalier, we're told, about to make a triple change. So English and Simpson are among the men coming on. There's the number 25, Brian English, inserted by Cavalier. So Coach Rudolph Speed wants to tighten his grip on the game. They already lead by 2-0. And this would be a bit of a hammer blow here for this Arnott Garns team, who had looked so promising early. Simpson in for Murray. Guthrie. Cephas. Thomas. Oh, English with a great pass across. Slowly has just come on for Cavalier. That's Colin Anderson, it is. It's just come on. Has a smile on his face, and I can't say I'm surprised this team is now on top and looking to set themselves up here for their second win of the season. And a win that would take them to the top of the table. Yeah, English was trying to get the ball there to Thomas, but Thomas, because he felt he was in an offside position, wasn't offering himself for the pass.
Maybe he needed to have gone and allowed the assistant referee to make the decision.
Kong for Arnott. Yeah, we were suggesting that we don't often see nil-all scorelines between these two teams at half-time, so there was always a confidence that we could have gotten some goals here. They did have a nil-all scoreline between Cavalier and Arnott back in April 2019, as Arnott are trying to go forward with Deacon, but on the near post, Jadine White is comfortable taking it. Yeah, that was the second leg, Jeremiah, of the playoff, when Cavalier had already won the first leg by 3-0, so they were playing safe in the second leg, and that was a reason for that nil-all scoreline, or a part of the reason for that nil-all scoreline, because generally these teams don't battle to scoreless draws.
Yes, and we've seen here, and also the fact that if Cavalier go on to win this one, it would have been their first win over Arnott in the last 4 meetings, so it would be turning the tide somewhat.
Yeah, Arnott swept them last year. Webster, Simpson, Lang. Doxley. I think he was looking for Webster there, but Webster wasn't interested in receiving that one. But Doxley and Shanil Thomas, the goal scorers for Cavalier. 20 minutes to go in the game. Arnott, their backs against the wall here against the Cavalier team that is now pumped up by the 2 goals they've got.
Yes, and quite rightly so, and they have to be pleased also with pretty much their defensive work. Yes, they've been under the cosh, but didn't allow Arnott to really have a sight on goal. Some of it to faulty finishing from Arnott, but also they haven't given much time or space for Cephas, who's still on the park, and Clark, who has been substituted. As you see, a yellow card there being shown to Cunningham. But yeah, they have defended well and have been deep enough to prevent runners going in behind, and so much has really blunted this Arnott Garden attack, and so it's good work to them on the defensive end as well.
Anderson taking the tumble. So Chedin Rodriguez, the Arnott Gardens goalkeeper, beaten twice here in the second half.
I think he did get a hand to the second goal there, where Doxley had over a kick, but just wasn't strong enough to keep it out.
King being hustled there by Cephas for the ball. I think he wins himself a goal kick here, so Cavalier just measuring their performances at the moment. There's Kamoy Simpson, who didn't start today, coming off the bench, and some experience, or more experience now in the Cavalier setup.
Just looking to try and manage this game and see if they can close it out.
Yeah, by far the oldest player on the field at the moment for Cavalier, Kamoy Simpson at 29. Yeah, English, the other substitute, also 29 years old, so Speed going for some experience on the field to manage the remainder of this game to ensure they collect the 3 points that they have set themselves up for here with these 2 second half goals.
Yeah, it's a good strategy employed today. Wanted the younger legs, more enthused players going forward, and once he would have gotten the advantage, now seeking to shore it up and put steady hands on the ship to take them over the line and take 3 points here that in the second half, on the run of play, playing on the counter, you feel it's nothing more than they deserve. The front 3 for Cavalier in the second half been very fluent. We see Webster switching from right to left, and Thomas going through the middle, going right side, Atkins going from left to right.
Simpson gets the ball further out now. Shanil Thomas, the opening goal scorer, now back to Simpson. No hurry, no haste here for this Cavalier team at the moment. Atkinson, Doxley, Ming, who still has the captain's armband on, even though Kamoy Simpson has come on. Unforced there for Cavalier. On it now in possession with Martin. Deacon. Martin with a return play. Gives himself too much work here, and at the same time, King in defense for Cavalier, very, very alert and assured in his approach, and takes care of business. Cavalier on top 2-0. Shanil Thomas and Melvin Doxley, the scorers for Cavalier.
And Lance, apart from that early chance where we saw Cephas early in the game, pretty much 1-on-1 with goalkeeper, we haven't seen much clear-cut chances from Arnott, created by Arnott Gardens. A lot of shots from distance, but so deep is Cavalier that Arnott just cannot slice their way through, and they're getting a lot of numbers behind the ball. Can't afford to do so, Cavalier, because of the type of players they have up front. in the front three of Atkinson, Webster and Thomas. Webster and Atkinson, good speed and trickery. And Thomas providing a reference point, as we saw he did in his first goal, or the first goal of this game.
Yeah, good to see Doxley getting on the score sheet because of his defensive duties, not a prolific goal scorer. Did have a couple of goals for Grosselet in the St. Lucia Premier League back in 2020, and did score for Morventh Caledonia in the Trinidad and Tobago Pro League. 1 goal in the 2018 season, so he's not a regular scorer, but he certainly took that overhead kick with a lot of composure and quality just now.
Yeah, it's a finish that any striker would be proud of, the way he executed.
Webster assisting on both goals as well. Dwight just turned 20 years old a couple of weeks ago, Ronald Webster, and fitting in very, very comfortably in this Cavalier team now.
His transition to the Jamaica Premier League from schoolboy football seemingly seamless. And like I said, he's a player I loved watching at schoolboy football, and like in the second half, totally more imposing and influential in this game. Came out a different player in the second half.
Yeah, did have a short stint with Reno as well before moving over to Cavalier. Here's English, delightful pass across here to Anderson. Atkinson waiting in the middle. English with a strike, but Simpson gets in the way.
And if you were striking a goal and looking to cut back, I just have to see that one again. But that, if it was a strike, didn't seem as if it was going to trouble Rodriguez. But initially there, I felt he was trying to pick out a player.
Yeah.
Maybe looking to cut back, or but definitely not going to trouble Rodriguez.
A very, very high quality player, Brian English. I've always been very impressed with him from his days at Harborview. And he's offering Cavalier a lot of midfield generalship at the moment. Anderson retrieves towards the far side. Atkinson. Doxley. Trying to split the defense there, but the Arnott defenders take care of business. Now Guthrie for Arnott. Tackled successfully by Doxley. Lang wins it and gives it to Webster. Webster with the step overs. Oh, Webster does really well here. Still Webster! Blocked by Cunningham. Wow.
That would have been a great goal there. Individual goal by Webster. Nearly bamboozling the defense with his step overs and getting off a good shot.
Oh, Simpson with a delightful play here. Atkinson has a chance to strike and goes for goal. Off the line. Now the finish by Shanil Thomas. Second goal of the afternoon. And the Cavalier are now in front by 3 goals to 0, are they? No, the referee has something to say about the play, has he? No, I think it's in.
He's pointing that it is in. So yes, it's the second goal for Shanil Thomas.
Yeah, here's what happened here. Delightful pass there by Kamoy Simpson. Now, because of the angle, well, initially I thought Dwayne Atkinson opted maybe not to strike at goal. Then he went for the near post. I thought the ball had gone in here from the first strike.
But it came off the crossbar, I think, and bounced the other side of the line.
Yeah, and first the bounce was Shanil Thomas there, right on target.
But again, good work from another, all the front players being involved here, and Atkinson really did well to get that one on target. I think Rodriguez was gambling on that one, thinking that Atkinson was going for the cross, because he did him with the eyes and then go for the near post, as you said, Lance. And the defender was just on hand. The crossbar saved them there, but Thomas, the quickest to respond.
And so Shanil Thomas engineers a tremendous turnaround in this game here for Arnott Gardens. Alex Thomas, the Arnott Gardens coach, they're looking deflated, having gone into the halftime break with seeming control of the game.
Yeah, it's quite clear, Cavalier going into the half, realizing that they're under pressure, and it would have suited them better with Arnott throwing a number of players forward. I think at one point in the first half, Lance, we looked and Arnott had about 7 players in the box as Rodriguez continued to get treatment, so they continue to throw players forward. And I think what was recognized by the Cavalier technical team is that it would suit them best to play on the counter, and they did that to great effect in the second half.
First time for the season that a team has scored more or as many as 3 goals in the season in a match, and Cavalier have that honor. And we still have 10 minutes left. Yeah, Marlon Martin is out for Arnott Garnes, and Deshaun Bernard is in for him. So Arnott making another change as well. But with under 10 minutes remaining in this game, the job now appears to be beyond Arnott Garnes. Bernard the sub across to Guthrie. Guthrie's pass isn't very good. Guthrie recovers. Cephas for Arnott. Still Cephas. His cross is powerful, but Simpson gets in the way. Corner to Arnott.
Again, that deep line, defensive line of Cavalier, just not allowing space for Cephas to get in behind.
Wow, good skill from Atkinson. English gets away, being chased by 2 Arnott men. Anderson comes to the edge of the box and strikes, but poorly. And Rodriguez has the easy take.
Yeah, that was a poor attempt in the end, and wasn't worthy of the type of build-up that we saw before that. But what we've seen from English since he's come on, Lance, is those late runs from midfield, and actually really having no trackers with him. He's allowed to play those balls second time around. We've seen that.
Well, Webster breaking free here. The flag stays down, so Webster has room still with the ball. Webster goes for goal, and it's Thomas with a strike, his third. The offside flag is up, so that won't count, but that was almost a hat-trick for Shaniel Thomas. Not a natural hat-trick because Duxley had scored in between. Yeah, the offside flag had gone up.
In the final moments of the game here, every time that Cavalier go forward, they look like scoring. Chasing the game, we see Arnott switching to 3 at the back, and there's a lot of space to the flank, and they've Webster and Atkinson were dominant with 4 at the back. You can just imagine with space wide of the penalty area for them to run into.
Yeah. I spoke of Arnott Garnes' defensive woes last year, and they appear to be resurfacing now as Webster goes hunting for more Cavalier goals. Oh, loses his balance, Webster. Oh, the ball still comes across. English, still English. Does well to get a strike off. Appeared to have been dragged a bit there.
That was Atkinson.
Oh, that was Atkinson. Atkinson, yeah. Just out-muscled. Yeah, but almost a hat-trick here for Shaniel Thomas, but there he is offside. You can see from that angle that he was a step ahead of Cunningham. Yeah, but a complete turnaround here. You know, the cliche term in football, a game of 2 halves, because what we're seeing here since the halftime break is completely opposite to what we saw in the first half.
And I think one of the features that we saw of Arnott Garnes in the first half is a situation where we saw a Segri playing from the left back position. Was a lot of time going into the middle of the park, and so it almost effectively creating 3 at the back. And I think Cavalier would have recognized that somewhat in the second half and just left their 3 front men up front, and every time Arnott attacked and it broke down, they hit them on the counter in those spaces provided. So Cavalier looking to make another substitution. We see Webster, who has really influenced this second half as the player coming out. Really had a brilliant second half, and I think has really the reason and all of this good work started through him in getting Cavalier ahead. And 2 assists in this 3-goal lead for Cavalier. Really a good second half performance.
So Webster exits the game. One of the star performers for this Cavalier team, for sure. Yeah, I would say it's his best performance of the season, Webster, in this Cavaliers' 4th game. A result that is set now to take Cavalier to the top of the point standings, provisionally, of course, because this is only the opening game of match day 4. And they will, with this result, move up to 7 points and move ahead of Portman atop the table. And Arnett Garnes, heartbroken here in the second half by 3 unanswered goals by Cavalier. This would be Arnett Garnes' worst result for them since sometime during the aborted 2019-2020 season. And they were beaten 3-0 by Dunbeholden back in December 2019. This, if it stays here, would be the worst Arnett result since then. The cross. Simpson for Arnett. Anderson puts pressure on. 3.5 minutes of normal time remaining. Time to be added on for stoppages. Arnett trying to salvage something here late. Thomas chasing but won't get there in time. Yeah, the clearance by Rodriguez got to English, but he wasn't able to keep it.
Coming to the end of this one, just under 3 minutes to go with time to be added on. I think we've seen some good performances from this Cavalier team. As I mentioned earlier, Atkinson really the catalyst for this victory today. Really started very well in the second half, providing 2 assists. And Thomas with 2 good finish, just thwarted by the offside flag for hat-trick. Those 2 are the standout for me, Lance, in terms of the Man of the Match award.
Atkinson started out brightly, but Webster was tremendous as well. The goal scorer, Thomas Doxley, also solid. So a lot to choose from here with the MVP for the game, because all 4 of those players, in my estimation, played significant roles today in Cavalier getting this result. Doxley was pretty solid for the entire game. A lot of the others came to life in the second half, which was the pivotal period for Cavalier. So I guess those are the factors we'd consider here. Doxley.
And also playing what you'd call out of position, so to speak, employed in midfield today, Doxley, and did the job in terms of the first half, breaking up the play. So yeah, you're right. It's a close call. So we see Sigri there being shown the yellow card, I think, for a raised elbow on Doxley.
Yeah, so a yellow card there. Not a lot of cards issued in this game so far. So the policeman, Stefan Duar, the referee, hasn't had a lot of interventions. Of course, we've already seen the Portmore United St. Lucian Alvinus Myers pick up 2 Man of the Match honors. So if Doxley gets the vote here, it would continue a good run for St. Lucians in the Premier League as far as star performers are concerned. As I say that, Doxley picks up a yellow card, does he?
Yes, he does.
Doxley picks up the yellow. Oh, Sigri has yellow. Arnett, Sifa strikes at goal, a bit of a deflection which makes the take easier for goalkeeper Jaylene White. Pretty hard to deny Shanil Thomas, though, as a double goal scorer in a 3-0 scoreline for the man of the match honour. He exits the game, by the way, so a couple of the players in the conversation for man of the match are now off on the bench.
I mean, you could argue that in the second half, in order for them to play on the counter, a player like Doxley in the middle of the park, sitting in front of the defensive line, breaking up the plays and stopping the Arnott attack, did afford them the opportunity to so do.
4 minutes added on for stoppages here, and Cavalier are on the verge here of securing what has been a very, very satisfying afternoon of football for them, because they did go into the second half, the break of the first half, in strife, being outplayed by Arnott Gardens. And here they are trying to get a fourth goal of the afternoon, and Rodriguez touches this one over. And the expression on Rodriguez's face tells you the Arnott Gardens story. So we're into stoppage time, and can Cavalier make this a fourth? The header out by Cunningham. Anderson fetches this one over on the right. Oh, a strike on goal, and Rodriguez equal to the task.
I think, just thinking about it, Lance, and all that has gone on, 2 goals scored, you say it's difficult to deny him. Then you add to the fact that Doxley has scored, played out of position, critical to the type of strategy employed in the second half.
Yeah.
You can't have 2 persons winning the awards, but very close, but wouldn't have a problem with Doxley at all either.
Let's keep it there now, let's keep it there.
So we're in the final couple of minutes here of stoppage time. And the MVP vote for the match goes in a photo finish to the double goal scorer, Shanil Thomas, just edging his teammate, Melvin Doxley. Ainsworth. Ball slips out of the goalkeeper's hand, but at this point, no Cavalier forward hungry enough to be storming in. Free kick. On it. Beaten this afternoon after a very promising first half. The 5-time champions now suffering their second loss in 3 matches, Arnott Gardens. Yeah, that's Deacon going for it, but being out-muscled here by the Cavalier defenders. Ezra and Simpson. A lot of confidence on the ball from central defense, Simpson. Sigri, who based on his first half performance was building his stocks for the MVP honor, but things really made a U-turn for Arnott Gardens in the second half.
And you want to think maybe the way he was employed.
Cavalier looking for goal number 4. Yeah, that's a powerful strike on goal, but way over the top from young Atkinson.
I think based on the stage of the game, he went for that maybe earlier on. Had it not been the scoreline as we saw his play earlier, he would have looked to set up someone.
Yeah, and that's a final whistle from referee Stefan Duar. And Cavalier coming up with another victory here by 3-0 and surging to the top of the point standings after a bit of a stutter in their second and third matches. 1-1 with Harbourview and losing to Dunbehold, and rebound Cavalier with the 3-0 victory. Shanil Thomas with 2 goals, Melvin Doxley, the St. Lucian, with the other. And Cavalier are handsome 3-0 winners here over Arnott Gardens on the opening day of, or the opening match of match day 4 in the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digicel.